Hello, hello there. My name is Murray. I'm with my co-host Corey, and we are the Real Guys. This is Sign Radio, and this is the Real Show with two E's. The music you just heard was Cantina Band, conducted by John Williams, and from Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope in 1977. We've got a packed show for you today for our broadcast, and as always, I'm accompanied by my co-host Corey. How are you doing today, Corey?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good to hear. So today we're rather breaking a precedent on this show, aren't we? It's the holiday season. It's the holiday season, and we're coming at you, listener, with a series of shows, a couple of shows focused mainly on the Christmas film. But today we're not doing Christmas films, are we? Are we, Corey?
Well, not quite.
We're doing holiday films, specials rather. The Star Wars holiday specials.
More specifically, Life Day.
Life Day. Happy Life Day, Corey.
Happy Life Day, Murray.
Happy Life Day. Yes. So, as people must be aware, whenever the holiday season rolls around, everybody thinks of the 1978 Star Wars holiday special.
It's classic.
Now, yeah, indeed. Now, for the discerning listener who might have no idea what we're talking about, the Star Wars Holiday Special was a made-for-TV movie in 1978, based on a story by George Lucas. It taking place on the Wookiee home planet of Kashyyyk. Chewbacca and Han Solo are on an intrepid adventure to visit the Wookiee home planet for the Wookiee holiday Life Day with Chewbacca's family. I'm gonna have to stop myself from laughing throughout this entire episode. Because unfortunately, a few days from today, I think the day before yesterday, the day after yesterday, me and Corey sat down to watch this hour 30 long, just horrible pipe dream. That is the only way I can describe it. It was just utter inanity and insanity happening before our eyes.
Yeah, it was several
moments. Yeah, I think there were several moments where I lost the will to live. Am I correct, Corey?
You are. I can definitely join you on that one.
Yeah. But we'll go into it first. Now, centering on Chewbacca's family, let's run down the family members first off, shall we?
Yeah, go on.
Well, we've got his wife. First off, Wookiees can marry. That's new to me.
Yeah. Chewbacca's got a family.
Yeah, his wife Marla, which is just a normal name, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's like the Lion King, wasn't she called Marla?
I think I meant Nala.
Oh, it's Nala. Oh, sorry, not Marla.
I think it's Nala's the Lion King.
Oh, fair enough. Well, Marla,
understandable.
Then. Yeah, it's understandable. Next, we've got. Now, you had a particular aversion to Chewbacca's father.
Well, okay, it's hard to explain, right? He's.
Do you bet?
He just looks. He's got a weird mouth, right?
He's got a weird sort of face that looks like. Oh.
Yeah. Any listeners out there, just Google or YouTube just a small section of this, and you'll get what I mean. He's the old man. You can tell who he is, and he's just got a weird mouth.
He's like a grey Chewbacca with like a weird face that looks like some sort of crumpled orange or crumpled fruit or something.
His bottom lip moves and his top lip doesn't, but his bottom lip's like a weird like N shape. So
growth. It's like a weird growth on his face.
Yeah. And he's really scrunched up and all the time. It's very weird.
I'm laughing. Also, what's his name?
You know what? Most of the names are lost on me. I know the kid is Kid Lumpy. It was like
the kid is called Lumpy, and the father is called Itchy.
Lumpy. That's
Itchy and Lumpy.
That's the one.
Oh my God, Itchy and Lumpy. So with Marla, Itchy, and Lumpy.
Do you want to try and describe? Lumpy, by the way?
Lumpy is just a ball of fur that just runs around and makes weird, inane noises. They're very I don't want to do the impression of the noise he makes, but it's quite distinctive.
Yeah. I would like to point out this pretty much whole film you can't understand.
No, I'd admit to the first half an hour is just Wookiee antics.
Yeah. No subtitles.
No subtitles. You're not going to know what they're saying. It's just Wookiee antics. It's like one of those weird like silent films without the text. You just have to guess what's going on by like, but they don't even emote. They've just got weird Wookiee faces that like you can see their eyes. They're dead behind the eyes. They've got like weird furry hands and fur bodies. They're just running around, walking around. The Lumpy's going around like wag, 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 wag.
Yeah, that's the one.
Like that. He's making that weird noise. I cannot believe that George Lucas first off signed off on this story, and second off, after the success of A New Hope, wanted this to be something.
Yeah.
I described to you after we watched this. I described to you, imagine, right, if I can take you back, dear listener, on Siren Radio, FM, The Real Show, listening to and watching Star Wars Episode 4, 1977, right? Imagine it, Corey, for a brief second, that you're watching.
What year that was?
You're 1977, the Star Wars. You've watched it, you loved it. The effects blow you away. The acting, the special effects, the lightsaber fights, the dog fights in space, the spaceships, the scale. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. It blew you away, right? And you get it through on the grapevine that Star Wars is coming back. That a year later, Star Wars is coming back. There's a TV special. You think, but still, you sit down and you watch it, and this is what you get. You just get a tsunami of just utter idiocy and something that goes on for way too long and looks weird and sounds weird. It's just a mess of character and weird stuff.
Well, the first thing you get is reused footage.
The first thing you get is reused footage,
which fills you with hope. And then the second thing to get is Han Chewbacca sitting in a very, very bad set of the Falcon.
Cardboard Millennium Falcon, aren't they sitting in?
Yep.
It's cardboard Falcon. And yeah, you get a lot of reused footage. You get reused footage of the Millennium Falcon, reused footage of, I think the last 5 minutes are just all reused footage.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Aren't they? When Chewbacca has like this weird pseudo flashback. It's just
I forgot about it.
It has this like almost like a Vietnam flashback of him being involved in this civil war across the galaxy. But anyway, I struggle to comprehend who thought of this, and I struggle to comprehend what was going through their head when we have such things as the entire cast of A New Hope effectively returning.
Yes.
Mark Hamill is back as this Luke Skywalker, and Harrison Ford is back as Han Solo. But it's like through the looking glass. Like Mark Hamill is caked in like orange makeup, and he looks like a Ken doll, you know. The way he speaks is not Luke Skywalker. He speaks in this very sort of stilted sort of way. I think Luke Skywalker is a very compelling character, and in A New Hope, Mark Hamill is great. But in this, I don't know whether he just thought he'd take an off day or something.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford looks like he's already done with Star Wars more than he already was. He's losing the will to live. You know, he's regretting his decisions. Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul, is just trying to put on a good show, but to be honest, you can't polish it. You can't polish a turd. Yeah.
No.
You know? Anthony Daniels is back as C-3PO, even though he'd do anything for a check.
Yeah.
Peter Mayhew is doing his best, as he always does. God rest him. And Darth Vader. Can we talk about Darth Vader?
We can talk about Darth Vader.
Right. Now, in the credit, they do this sort of almost like a television show credits where they go like, Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker and Harrison Ford as Han Solo, this sort of thing, you know. Then they go on and they say James Earl Jones as the voice of Darth Vader. And you're like, wow, Darth Vader's back in this, you know. How much of Darth Vader do we actually see, Corey?
He's in it for like 2 seconds.
Isn't it for like a scene? Isn't it for one scene where he's walking down a hallway with an officer and that's it?
Yeah. Which may or may not be reused footage.
Yeah, it's reused footage. It's I think I did some research. I think the Darth Vader scene, which if there only is one scene, it's a deleted scene from A New Hope.
Wow.
So it would have been used, but it was cut, and they used it for this. It's because it's got the same guy who's in A New Hope. It's got a man who died on the Death Star in canon, and he's in this. It's like his clone or his brother or something.
Yeah.
But and Darth, he's got one line, and he goes like, "We have to search the." Well, I'll do the voice. He goes, "We have to search the Wookiee planets. We have to search every household in the system." You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he walks down the hallway, and that's it of Darth Vader. Imagine in 1977, Darth Vader was sent spinning off the Death Star in a TIE fighter, and he comes back in this for one scene. Oh, dear,
I mean,
it's. I'm struggling to get my head around it, to be honest.
It's been 2 days and I still can't get my head around it.
Yeah, and let us not forget the amount of like segments in this.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that?
I mean, I think so.
They'll
What I'm thinking.
they'll just cut to something. Someone will watch something on the television. Also, television.
Yeah.
Someone
TVs in there.
Yeah, they've got TVs. They've got cassette tapes.
Yeah.
It's like, is this really a galaxy far, far away, or is this some sort of weird pseudo universe where they have televisions and they have screens and stuff, and people are like watching things on the view screen. People are watching things on the, like, I don't know, Star Wars Skype or something. You know, they're Skyping Princess Leia.
Yeah, because you get. What's those? His first cassette tape is the Hologram Circus.
The hologram. Oh, these weird sort of green peacock men who dance around.
Yeah. And that's the kid who puts that on. Gets given a cassette. Yeah, Lumpy gets given a cassette by Itchy, puts it on Hologram Circus. The second one is the weird, like, space rock band.
Is it?
Yeah, because I think that's the second one where he gets distracted by the band while they're searching the house.
Oh, is it that weird four-armed pink woman?
Oh no, it is. Yeah, I forgot about her.
Her? I think it's an it.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Marla, the mother.
What was it? Whiskin. What was it? I forgot
Stir
it was.
whip. Stir whip.
Stir whip.
You got to stir whip, stir wah. You know.
I mean, my favourite one was the android who's basically teaching Lumpy how to make, like, a communicating device.
Oh, yeah, he's making like a transmitter or something.
Yeah, who's just constantly will just talk, and eventually will just do that, and then he comes back again.
Yeah.
It's just like 5 minutes.
It goes on for every scene goes on for like a minute too long, or a couple minutes too long, you know.
Yeah.
And then every minute goes on for a couple minutes too long, and then especially that scene where it's just this weird man in this weird costume who's just like pointing out things. He's saying he says, like, he's looking at this sort of, like, I don't know, this probe thing, and he's like, the very sharp edge, you must watch out, ouch, you know. And I'm sat there with my head on my hands, you know, and you're laughing your head off at the time, I think. And I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, who authorized this? Who is to blame? I need someone to blame. Because poor George Lucas, I think he had it by that point.
I want to know who decided to make this, like, a weird kind of musical. There's like 4 songs in this.
There are 4 songs. First off, you mentioned the band that turns up, the full-on band.
Yes, it's an actual band, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
Who are distracting this guard, essentially.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
The stormtroopers show up at their house, right?
Yeah.
The Imperials show up to search the house, or for I don't know. I'm not sure what they're looking for rebels, or I don't know what they're looking for. Anyway, they come in, and this guy, this human man who's played by Art Carney. I don't remember what his name was. Was it his name was like Saul or something? Saul comes in and Saul's like, "Oh, you can watch this on the television. You settle down, fellas. Watch this on the television screen." He puts it on, and it's just this band. It's just a band.
Yeah. Because they come in, they try and search a house, even though they end up finding a communication thing, and they just ignore it completely. Mm-hmm. Like, the stormtrooper opens a drawer, sees it, closes the drawer.
Yeah.
And that's it. And yeah, he tells them to, like, come in, sit down, relax, and then he says probably the best line in the film.
Oh no, is it the bit where he tries to get the stormtroopers are like harassing the family, and he tries to get the mother Marla to come away to like scheme or something to
Yes.
come and get them distracted. And he
He
goes,
tries to discreetly like tell her to help him in the best way possible.
Do you want me to do my
Give us a rendition of it, would you please?
right? He goes like, Joanna, come in the come over here and help me, Marla. And he goes, Marla, come in the kitchen, help me.
it's like someone doing like obviously this was made way before, but it's like someone doing a really bad Batman impression.
Yeah, Marla, come in the kitchen, help me.
And that happens, and then what else is there? There's the bar. There's one at the bar who sings.
Oh, the cantina scene.
Yeah, so bar
No,
gets shut down.
Right, the stormtroopers are searching the house. Right, the stormtroopers are searching the house, and they're looking for things. And then suddenly, the television comes on. The Star Wars television. The Star Wars television comes on, and there's this announcement that like all Imperial citizens must watch this broadcast or whatever,
Yeah.
And they get on and they watch it, and it's this almost sort of soap opera that's happening in the Tatooine, like.
Yeah, it's Space EastEnders.
Yeah, like space EastEnders happening in the Tatooine, in like this Tatooine, this Tatooine cantina, which is apparently supposed to be the cantina from Episode 4, the Cholman Space Cantina. Apparently, it is supposed to be that, and it goes this sort of weird scene with this man who's got like a volcano on his head.
Yeah,
and he's trying to get the love of this woman played by Bea Arthur, and then the Empire like shuts them down. The Empire shuts them down or whatever. And I'd like to know what Emperor Palpatine was thinking, closing this tiny cantina on Tatooine. He goes, Lord Vader, we must not focus on the rebels. We must concentrate all our forces on closing this tiny cantina on Tatooine. And Vader goes, are you sure? We've got to take care of Luke Skywalker. And Palpatine goes, no, we must. Soon the cantina will be crushed and Bea Arthur will be one of us.
I mean, yeah, maybe Palpatine wanted to open his own establishment.
Yeah,
maybe that's what he's doing.
Palpatini's.
Exactly.
On Tatooine. Yeah. I can't believe that we cut all this stuff, these like weird segments, and then they sing the song, don't they? They sing a song.
Yeah.
She goes like, "It's not the end, friend. Don't say goodbye," and that kind of thing. She's dancing around the cantina.
Yeah, she's brought another round for everyone. You know, the cantina band are there.
Oh yeah,
they got all the hits. That's fair.
Yeah. They're there.
Spies around for everyone, and then she basically just goes around and sings to everyone. She has a dance with someone. And
there's the bouncer. There's
a big bouncer.
Yeah.
Who basically is taking everyone out. As soon as she's done dancing or whatever, he'll pick him up, take him outside, and then it ends with everyone's left. It's just her, and then that guy with the volcano head is now behind the bar. And it's still there.
Yeah, it's just sort of weird space opera, isn't it? It's like a space soap opera that you're watching, and also it's got nothing to do with the plot. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Corey, but it's got nothing to do with the plot.
No, it hasn't.
All this stuff has nothing to do with the plot. It's just like I've said the word before many times, but it's like segment. It's like watching little segments, like and also they don't make sense in the canon of what you're watching. Yeah. Like, do you remember the animation that they show? They show this sort of...
Yes, I do.
It's very Star Wars droids. As you know about Star Wars droids?
I've heard of Star Wars droids.
We might cover it on this show, but Star Wars droids was this sort of 70s, 80s cartoon about R2-D2 and Chewbacca. R2-D2 and not Chewbacca. R2-D2 and C-3PO, sorry. But it's got Chewbacca in it, and it's like you're watching. It's like an animation about what I can only assume in Star Wars are real people. So anyway, Lumpy sits down, and the Chewbacca's son, Lumpy sits down and to watch this thing. It's like a cartoon, but it's like a cartoon of real events. But they be real in the way that in this universe they are real, where it's like they're searching for this ancient talisman, and the Millennium Falcon's being piloted by Chewbacca, but like but like Han Solo is like tied up because the talisman makes you sleepy, or it makes you like nauseous if you're a human or something.
Yeah, it's the Luke's following the Falcon crashes,
Mm.
and then because like we saw this in the opening credits, it pops up. It's like a little animated segment, and me and you saw it. Oh, is that Boba Fett? And then it
Yeah,
comes up, and Boba Fett's there, and he saves Luke and everyone. He takes them to the Falcon. He knows where it is, and then we find out that the talisman makes any human, ignoring the fact that Boba Fett's clone, but
Boba Fett is a clone. Boba Fett's not a human technically.
um, any human gets dizzy, and you have to hang them upside down so the blood goes to their head and it keeps them alive.
Yeah, and then they send R2D2 or they send C3PO or something, R2D2 and C3PO into the city with Boba Fett, who they don't know is the bounty hunter. They don't know is evil.
It's Chewbacca goes with Boba Fett, and then R2D2 like hacks into a video call.
Yeah, he video Skypes Lord Vader. And
Yeah,
he says, Lord
like
Vader,
IKEA.
I've got the rebels. You know, I've found the rebels, Lord Vader. That's a horrible Fett impression, but it's the best I can do. And anyway, they go back to the Falcon, and Fett's got this magic serum or whatever that he gives to Luke and Han Solo, and they're back, and Han Solo's got this weird sort of triangle face.
Yeah, Han Solo looks weird. C3PO blinks.
C3PO blinks. You point that out to me. I didn't notice it first until you said to me, Murray, is C3PO blinking? And I was like, I looked, and he did blink. I thought, oh my god, he's blinked. I was shouting. I was like, he's blinking. He is blinking. He's not supposed to blink.
No, only does he blink, he also blinks sideways, which is very weird.
He does blink sideways, but this is also famous, the holiday special, for introducing Boba Fett. Now, he'd sort of been seen beforehand. There was like a concept art video or something that got leaked in the 1970s that had an all-white Boba Fett. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yes.
Back when Boba Fett was just called an Imperial Super Commando. Back when Boba Fett's design was not for a bounty hunter, it was for a class of Imperial trooper. But anyway, Boba Fett, the original Mandalorian, who's recently been canonized to be a Mandalorian in The Mandalorian the show, because there was a debate for a while that if Boba Fett is a Mandalorian or not. Because initially he was a Mandalorian, but then in the EU he was not actually called Boba Fett. He was this guy called Jaster Mareel. But then episode 2 came around, and there was this guy called Jango Fett who was a Mandalorian, and who was Boba Fett's father. Boba Fett was a direct clone of him, right? So that technically does make Boba Fett Mandalorian. But then season 2 of the Clone Wars rocks up, and there's this guy called Prime Minister Almec who says that Jango Fett isn't a Mandalorian. He's just a guy wearing Mandalorian armor. So then we don't know whether. But Jango Fett is claimed to be Mandalorian because he was born on a planet that's in the Mandalorian system. That's in the Mandalore system.
Yeah.
But finally, it's been canonized in The Mandalorian the show that the Fett family are Mandalorians, because Jango Fett was a foundling. I mean, he was brought into the Mandalorian Creed, and he was found by a guy called Jaster Mareel. So Jaster Mareel is now canon as well, and Boba Fett is Boba Fett. Boba Fett is also a Mandalorian, and Boba Fett is now a canon Mandalorian. So congratulations. Also, Tamora Morrison's back and playing him, and that's awesome as well. This isn't an advertisement for The Mandalorian, by the way. We're not in no way sponsored by Disney Plus or The Mandalorian, but they're doing good work. Anyway, yeah, this is also famous, the holiday special, for having Boba Fett in it and being for the first actual appearance of him in animation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very famous for that, and Boba Fett's Boba Fett's rumbled by C3PO, and he like ties up Chewbacca or whatever with his whip cord.
Yeah.
And then he flies away on his jetpack. So
and that's it. He's gone. That's that segment.
And that's it. He's gone. That's all you get at the animation. That was the most enjoyable part of it, to be honest, for me.
Yeah.
And then we get that weird soap opera bit, but it all ends in a rather strange fashion, because it's Life Day. You know, it's Life Day. Han Solo tricks the stormtrooper on the edge. Right at the start of the film, Lumpy is like Lumpy is like walking on this balcony,
Yeah.
on this balcony sort of guardrail, and on this fence, and on the other side of him is like a really long drop to like the Kashyyyk floor, the Wookiee planet floor, right? Because the Wookiees live in these big tree houses, okay? And when Han and Chewbacca arrive, they have to fight this stormtrooper off. One stormtrooper, by the way, and no one ever fires their blaster.
Oh yeah, yeah. We should mention the fact that there were like 4 people, and then Lumpy basically tricked them into going back to their base, so 1 stormtrooper remained.
Yeah. So when
And
Han
then
and Chewie arrived,
yeah, Lumpy's new communication device he just made then gets destroyed.
yeah, and then Han Solo has to trick this stormtrooper by like trying to like goad him into going for his blaster. But then
Yeah.
in that he breaks the fence and falls to his death. I can only assume.
Falls with a gracious Wilhelm scream, 'cause of course
Yeah,
he does.
falls with a gracious, oh! Falls with a gracious Wilhelm scream to the floor. I think I was more focusing on the fact that I didn't even notice Wilhelm scream at first. I know what I was focusing on. I was focusing on the fact that I'm not sure, but I wasn't focusing on the fact that the Wilhelm scream. Anyway, tricks the stormtrooper, and the stormtrooper falls to his death, and then it's up to Saul, or whatever his name is, the old man played by Art Carney, to trick the Imperial general on the communicator. That the stormtroopers like robbed them and like left.
Yeah, because a call comes through saying like, oh, the stormtrooper, whatever his number was, or we can't get hold of him, he's gone missing, blah blah blah.
Mm.
And then he rings them up, being like, oh, what's 4 of them? And then 3 of them left, and there's 1 left, and then he robbed me of all my stuff. And then they send out a search warrant for the stormtrooper.
Yeah. And then it ends in this sort of well, no. It ends in Han Solo leaving. Han Solo leaves.
Yeah, Han Solo leaves.
And says, right, I'll leave you to it then, guys. A lot nice seeing you. Bye. See you next year. And
Yeah.
then Chewbacca sits with his family. They're reunited. They have like a weird Wookiee kiss. And they sort of sit together. They hold these snow globes, or I can only assume they're snow globes, with lights in them. I just thought they were candles, but they're not candles. And then they go inside the candles, or they go into space.
They hold them up, and then the next shot is all these Wookiees walking in space in a straight line to like this massive ball of light or something. It's very weird.
Mm.
It's very weird.
They're all wearing these red sort of robes. It's very weird. It's very culty. It's very like they've just took loads of drugs and this is some sort of weird high. They're all in a sort of very misty land before this big tree, and then Luke and Leia and R2D2 and C-3PO and Han Solo show up again.
Yeah, Han Solo's back.
Yeah, he said, I wouldn't miss this for the world, Chewie. I'm here. It's Life Day. Happy Life Day. And they have like these weird sort of crystal domes or something in their hands, like the snow globes, and they all walk away into the light, and it's really weird. And then Chewbacca has that like flashback.
Yeah, well, Carrie Fisher sings as
Carrie
well.
Fisher does sing.
I can't remember what she sings about, but she definitely sings.
She sings like a celebratory song about Life Day or something.
Probably. And then yeah, it's just basically this weird flashback of like, here's Chewbacca getting his medal, and here's all this other stuff.
Here's Chewbacca, being on the Millennium Falcon, and here's Chewbacca at Yavin 4, that sort of thing. Here's a flashback to A New Hope, which you've already watched.
Yeah.
And then it ends with them sort of having a Life Day dinner or something, all the family.
Yeah, it ends with them sat at a table holding hands and like kind of look like they're praying with their heads
sort of praying down. I suppose I suppose the ending is probably, I'm going to say the ending's the best part of it because it ends, but
yeah,
I suppose it's supposed to be like this sweet and sentimental sort of vision of a holiday season special.
Yeah.
And it sort of evolved into something that it really wasn't supposed to be. It like became this sort of variety segment show or something.
Yeah.
It became something that it became something that I don't think the original idea was for it to be. However, I would dare to ask for your real rating, because we are going to actually give this a real rating, folks. We are going to give both of these holiday specials, which we will talk about the next one
Yes.
quite briefly, but I think we've spent a lot of time on this one. But what was your real rating for the 1978 Star Wars holiday special, Corey?
2.
2. Oh, fair enough. Mine's 2.5.
Oh, nice.
It only gets the 0.5 purely for that animation. The animation holds it up,
Fair.
as does the weird soap opera, purely for its utter inanity and purely for its just crazy, idiotic events.
I mean, to anyone out there, and any viewers listening who wants to watch it, just go on YouTube and type it in.
Yeah, there's literally the full thing is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just waste no time and waste an hour and a half of your life that you'll never get back. Because I certainly
Waste
feel
an hour
like
and a
that.
half. Do that. Go watch it, and then go on our Podbean. I'm gonna plug our Podbean quickly.
Yeah, plug the Podbean. Yeah.
Go on Podbean. Go on this episode. Leave a comment of what you thought of the episode was.
Yeah, nice. Get a bit of promotion in there, Corey. I like it.
Get a bit of interaction.
Yeah, I like get a bit of audience interaction. I like the sound of that. Now, flash forward to 2020.
Yes.
Disney Plus breaks onto the scene, and we get the announcement of a Star Wars holiday special in Lego. Now, Star Wars has always had a love relationship with Lego. They go together like, I don't know. They go together like ice cream and cake. You know.
Nice.
They go together like a beautiful combination. You know. They go together like two amazing things that go together. And there's the Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, all those video games that go really well. I'm sat in a room that's full of Lego Star Wars, so
nice.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big collector. I can't get enough. So, of course, they've got to come out with a Lego Star Wars holiday special around Christmas time. It came out, I think, last month, November 17th. I think it came out just in time for holiday season, and we both watched it.
We did.
And first off, improvement from the 1978 one.
Massive improvement from 1978 one.
Massive improvement. This one's actually got some kind of a plot.
Yes.
Which is, it's set post Episode 9. It's post Rise of Skywalker. It's in this sort of canon grey area where the events are canon, but like the events of this holiday special aren't really canon. Like it could have sort of happened, but also not really. It follows on Life Day again. Happy Life Day. It's Life Day once again, and it's a journey of Rey. Rey Skywalker has the Jedi text, and she's journeying to this planet called Doku to uncover this secret that will allow her to train Finn and train other students in the Jedi way. Now, first off, let's talk about the voice cast for this, because I didn't know this. I didn't know this until I was first watching it. Obviously, I'd seen the trailer, but it doesn't really give much away. It's a time travel story.
Yes, it is.
It's a time travel story. It takes us all the way back to Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It takes us to Episode 3, to the Clone Wars. It takes us to Episode 4. And unlike the 1978 holiday special, they don't replicate shots, but shots they do replicate are done in completely Lego. Like I know they replicate the Battle of Yavin, they replicate the Death Star trench run from Episode 4, but it's all in Lego. All the trenches Lego, all the turbo lasers, all the X-wings are, you know. But it's got there's this weird disconnect. I mentioned this when we were watching it, I think. There's a scene in I don't want to spoil the plot too much, but there's a scene where Rey is in the Jedi Temple, and the rocks around her aren't Lego. They're just like real rocks, right?
Yeah.
But there's like Lego pieces scattered on the ground. It's this weird sort of disconnect. It's the same in The Complete Saga. If you've ever played Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga,
I have
as well. It's the only game I've ever 100%ed all the way.
Very nice.
It's the only game I ever have 100% completion on. But because I've just played it every day as a child. Anyway, it's this weird disconnect between some things are real and some things are Lego. But I suppose Lego's hard to animate for everything. It's very in line with canon anyway. The whole Cordoku thing and the whole Jedi Temple thing is very Jedi Fallen Order. There's like a time travel gateway which has been done previously in Star Wars Rebels. It's almost it's very a Christmas. It's very sort of Christmassy themed. There's like a Life Day tree they hang up. Poe Dameron, who isn't voiced by Oscar Isaac, by the way, is trying to get the tip yip, which is like Endor chicken, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's on Kashyyyk, but I know that sort of tip yip is Endor chicken, and he's trying to cook it in various ways, including using the engine of the Millennium Falcon, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah, that doesn't go well.
No, that can't be very. That can't taste very well.
No.
I've even wrote in my notes actually. Cooking food in engines can't taste well.
Yeah,
can't taste good. I think I mean, but yeah, there's everything you love about.
His reason was it was quick, and then it ends up getting set on fire.
Yeah, it's on fire.
And then Dio has to put it out.
Yeah. There's even though there's quite a decent voice cast for this. Tom Kane is back as Yoda. Tom Kane voiced Yoda in the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, I believe. And basically any time where Frank Oz isn't available. The Clone Wars cast are back. James Arnold Taylor and Matt Lanter voice Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, respectively. So it's cool to hear them again. Matt Sloan, who voices Darth Vader in Battlefront 2 and Force Unleashed, is back as Darth Vader in this. But I think Lego and Star Wars have always had a very kindred relationship, because there was there's a TV show I mentioned called The Freemaker Adventures that is solely Lego Star Wars, and it's sort of in that same canon grey area almost. But there's a huge battle between all eras. You get TIE fighters, you get X-wings, you get Kylo Ren and Lando Calrissian, who is voiced by Billy Dee Williams, who voiced him in the films. It's sort of a very Christmas Carol and very Wonderful Life, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's very Wonderful Life. It's very a Christmas Carol, where Yoda sort of takes Force Ghost Yoda takes Rey through this journey of the past and present, and takes her to Episode 1, Phantom Menace, and takes her to see all these great students and great teachers and stuff like that, like Qui-Gon Jinn and people. But it was a fun journey. It was funny at times. It does comedy better than the 1978 version.
Oh, 100%.
It does story. It's got quite a lot of heart. It's very sweet. It's very funny. It's very cute. All the little Lego figures running around. But it still manages to get that sort of emotion between the teacher and student dynamic. They're really pushing in this, I suppose. And the ending, the fact that I mentioned that the Yoda showing up at the end was theorized to be the baby Yoda from The Mandalorian, which I think is a really fun theory to think about. But still, I enjoyed it. I had a very fun time with it. Much more fun than I had with the 1978 version.
It's way better than
it is way better
1978 version.
But it's not the best property I've seen from Star Wars. But I think it's a faithful reference. It's a faithful homage to the 1978 version.
Yeah,
especially because
they make an appearance. They're in it.
Yeah, the Chewbacca's family do actually appear in the 2020 Lego Star Wars Holiday Special.
Way better.
They do. They look way better as Lego minifigures than they do as actual live action characters. But what would you say to the 2020 version? What would your real rating be?
Ooh.
How many reels?
7.5.
Oh, 7.
I
would give it a 7 reels. You give it 7.5, which is strange because in the 1978 version you gave it 2. I gave it 2.5. So obviously
I quite enjoyed it. It's short. I think it's 45 minutes. I think it's
45 minutes compared to the about 2 hour, 1 hour 30, 2 hours of the 1978 version.
Sure, it's quick. It's essentially. It's like one of them things where it goes through a lot of almost like the best bits of Star Wars. It just goes through like loads of different beats of like, okay, here's this from this film, here's this bit from this film. Very iconic moments. It's very good to kind of watch it and see. You don't really need to know Star Wars to watch it. It's not one of them things where it's like, you don't need to know everything about the films to see it. You can quite easily just be a casual viewer and you can watch it.
But
it has quotes, it has lines.
Yeah.
Right, it's great fun.
But also it's rewarding if you do know
Yeah.
a bit, if you do know as much or you do know a lot. It's rewarding because they do sort of give you a bit of fan service. Obi-Wan Kenobi's famous line, "Hello there," is in there a lot.
It's in there twice.
He's in there about twice. They make fun of things. They make fun of the trade dispute in episode 1. They make fun of Darth Maul. They make fun of
Jar Jar Binks gets made fun of.
Jar Jar Binks gets made fun of. But it's not meant to be insulting. You know, they're sort of taking the mickey. They're poking fun at things. I think they poke fun at like Kylo Ren without his shirt on.
We do.
It is sort of like a Wonderful Life Christmas Carol Star Wars, which I think is Star Wars has always sort of taken from things like those. A New Hope is taken from like the Japanese samurai movies and westerns, and so it's very good to see Star Wars sort of leaning on the classic Christmas formula almost.
Yeah,
and I think that's great. So I'll give it a 7 reels. Corey will give it 7.5 for the vast improvement. If you'd watch any of them, honestly, I'd say watch the Lego Star Wars version.
Yeah,
because at least you won't lose your sanity.
No, you won't.
No, by watching the 1978 version, which is rather soul destroying, to be honest. I don't use that term lightly. But
if you do watch the 1978 version, make sure you're not doing anything the next day.
No, give yourself a free day to sort of just give yourself a free day to forget it.
Yeah.
Don't think on it too much. Just don't try to put too much thought in it. However, after discussing those holiday specials, those 2 holiday specials, I'm sure you're wondering what my weekly rec would be for this week. And now, since we've talked a lot about Star Wars, my weekly rec will be no different.
Okay.
Let me take you back to Return of the Jedi, the original cut of Return of the Jedi, before the 2011 special editions, before the 99 special editions, before McClunky or any sort of weird change made. I'll let the listener look up McClunky if they don't know what McClunky is, but I won't explain it.
It's great.
I won't explain what McClunky is. But before any of that, before any of the changes they made, before big CGI monsters in the way of the screen, before sort of weird line changes and dubbing and whatnot, there was the original cuts of the films. And one of the changes made was at the end of Return of the Jedi. And also, I wonder if Corey will twig on what I'm talking about for my weekly rec. He might have already twigged, but the original ending of Return of the Jedi. Now, there was a music change. It was changed into a song called Victory Celebration, which was probably better for the ending of the saga, right?
Yeah.
The song Victory Celebration, it's much more grand, it's much more orchestral, and it's much better for the ending of a saga. But the original song that was used was a song called Ewok Celebration, also known as Yub-Nub. Also known as Yub-Nub. Now, this is my weekly rec. My weekly rec is a song called Ewok Celebration, but it's also known as Yub-Nub. And Yub-Nub in the Ewok language means freedom. And it is a song about freedom, about power, about love, about taking back freedom from the Empire. Of course, in Return of the Jedi, the second Death Star explodes and Darth Vader dies and the Emperor dies. And the Empire is sort of vanquished, and a lot of power have been removed from the Empire, and if freedom is given back to the galaxy, and the Ewoks sing Yub-Nub as a song about freedom, a song about taking back the galaxy, and that sort of thing. And yeah, it's a fun song. It's a very fun, sort of happy song. It's sort of everyone loves the Ewoks, little dancing teddy bears. Teddy bears sort of dance around and sing about Yub-Nub. And overall, I think granted, if I'm objective about this, and I think Victory Celebration is better song for the ending of a saga, but Yub-Nub is a better song for the ending of the film.
Okay.
Now I am a bit torn on which song to actually I prefer, but my weekly rec this week is Ewok Celebration or Yub Nub. And it is a song you can probably find it on YouTube or wherever you get your songs from. Other video. We should probably say that other video streaming services are available, but they're not as good. Also, we should probably say that we've talked about Lego a lot. We should probably say that other building block toys are available, but they're not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Yub Nub, the Ewok Celebration, it's a song for victory, it's a song for power, it's a song for love, and it's and freedom, and it is my weekly rec. It's conducted by John Williams, and there's some Ewok vocals in there as well. Also, when can you say there's been Ewok vocals?
True.
The Ewoks are singing Yub Nub, and it's a good song as well. I think it's a sort of very light, uplifting song. It does offer an end to the film. Unfortunately, it was cut out. Certain versions, certain despecialized versions of the original trilogy still include Yub Nub, but the cinematic versions and the versions you can probably buy with the special edition changes do not include Yub Nub. So it's shocking to think that most people who watch Return of the Jedi have never even heard Yub Nub. So go out there, dear listener, on Siren Radio today and find Ewok Celebration, find Yub Nub, and give it a listen. Now, I'm sure you're wondering. I'm sure you're wondering and listening, Corey, about what my real rating is.
I am indeed. I'm waiting in anticipation.
Yeah, do you want to ask me the famous question of how many reels is Yub Nub going to get?
I would indeed. Murray.
Yes.
How many reels?
How many reels? Now, I've thought long and hard about this.
Okay.
Initially, it was going to get 9 reels.
Oh.
Which is high. But then I thought, you know what? It's not actually in the film when you watch it, unless you watch a despecialized edition.
Yeah.
And as good as I think Yub Nub is, it's as I said, Yub Nub is a good song for the ending of a film, but for the ending of the Star Wars saga, Victory Celebration is much better. So I'm going to give Yub Nub a solid 7.9. 7.9 reels for Yub Nub.
That's a very specific score.
It is. It's a specific score. It doesn't make the film. It was removed. So obviously it was removed with good reason by George Lucas.
Yeah.
I like the Ewok vocals. I like the little chanting they do. I like the singing of the lyrics. It's all in Ewok language. There's English translations do exist.
We do indeed.
And I like the sort of catchiness of the Yub Nub tune. It's very catchy. We wish we could play you out with it today, but unfortunately we don't have it. So instead, I will encourage you, dear listener, as my weekly rec, to go out and find Yub Nub and give it a listen. So decide for yourself. But my real rating is going to be 7.9. Now I've noticed
very good.
Yeah, we've broken the 0.5 rule already. I think in this. We initially stated when we're coming up with the rating system that it'd only be 0.0 or 0.5. But instead we're giving things, it's just kind of decimals 1 to 9.
Yeah, I mean that's got a 0.9. I gave Wicker Man, I believe, a 0.75.
Yeah.
So
7.75. Yeah. Well, I'm going to give Yub Nub or Ewok Celebration a 0.79 for Yub Nub.
Okay. So obviously you've mentioned you can't play us out with Yub Nub. So
no.
What are you playing us out with today?
Now, from my favourite Star Wars film, Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3 from 2005, we are going to be playing you out today on The Real Show for this Star Wars Holiday Special broadcast, where we play you out with Battle of the Heroes, which is the closing song in the duel between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, respectively. and conducted by John Williams and the fantastic, awesome London Symphony Orchestra. Nothing is played as better as when conducted by John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra. We are going to close this episode out with Battle of the Heroes. Battle of the Heroes from Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3 of Star Wars from 2005.